Is eBay dead? Can you still make money selling stuff on eBay part-time? Let's talk about it. All right, welcome back to my channel. So I'm gonna do a video on selling part-time on eBay and how it's changed over the last 3 years for me. Can you still make money? Is this doable for a part-time seller? What do you sell? How do you sell it? How do you list it? How do you ship it? Is it easy? So those are kind of the topics that I'm gonna cover this time. So grab your cup of coffee or a glass of wine and sit down. I'm gonna try not to make this too long, but it should be good. Okay, so to start with, disclaimer, I am in no ways or means a professional. I am not an expert on eBay and reselling. I am going to share with you my personal experience as a part-time seller and what I've seen change over the last few years. And is this really a viable source of income for those of you who want to do it part-time or full-time or just want to dip your toes in? Like, is it really going to be worth your time? So short answer, yes, it is worth your time. If you've watched my video that I made like 2 years ago, it's my most viewed video on how I earn $1,000 a month selling part-time on eBay. And that video is 100% true. Like there's no reason for me to hide. There's no reason for me to pretend that I'm something that I'm not. So what you see is what you get with me. And I just want to start out by saying back then, 2 years ago, actually, when I started selling, it was actually 3 years ago this month that I put my first item on eBay. And I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to ship anything, but I just took the plunge and I was like, I'm going to try this out. I love to thrift and I love stuff. So I put a pair of jeans up on eBay and they sold within a couple days and I was pretty much hooked. So it has changed a lot. When I first started selling, it was the fall. I didn't know it at the time, but that is the absolute best time to start your eBay business because that is when they have the most stuff going on. So being at fall, everything I listed pretty much sold. There was and within a week or two. And when you start out selling, you're only allowed to list like 10 to 25 items at a time, and then you can slowly increase how many items you have. And that first few months that I sold on eBay, I just went gung-ho, and I ended up, by December, $3,000 I think I sold by end of December. And then as you learn over time, there are periods of eBay that it really ebbs and flows. In summertime and spring typically are a lot slower. So my average sales have been steady because I try to average out the whole year and not look at by the month, because if I did that, it would be totally up and down. And life happens, and it just depends on how much time you put into eBay. It definitely takes time to become a good seller on eBay, to know what sells. Is eBay easy? No. Is it simple? Yes. It's simple because it's basically it's like learning how to do anything. It's learning a new job, and you have to treat it like a job. When you're learning a new job, you have to put time and effort into that job to get good at it, to know what you're supposed to be doing. eBay is the same way. It's not easy. It's not like I'm just going to throw something up on eBay and it's going to sell for me that day. That's not how it works. You have to know what to sell. You have to know, where you're going to go to buy stuff. And really, I don't even recommend people, if they're going to try this out and dip their toes in, I don't recommend buying anything to sell. I recommend looking around your house. What do you have that you don't need anymore that it could possibly be worth something? Do your research. Research takes a lot of time. When I am definitely a part-time seller now. I probably only put 10, 15 hours a week into eBay. And in the beginning, that was not the case. I wanted to be a part-time seller, but I really did it full-time, not the selling and the listing and all of that, but most of my time was put into research, learning how to do this, learning how to do shipping, being on the eBay website and actually looking at the help button and going, how do I do shipping? And then it helps explain it. Looking at their policies and procedures, looking at their fees, signing up with PayPal, waiting for PayPal to approve me. All of that is very time consuming. It takes a lot of time. So definitely it is time consuming in the beginning, but once you start getting it and learning it, it gets better. And it gets easier to list. You get faster at listing. You start recognizing what things are going to sell. So the next, a question I get a lot is, well, what do I sell? And it's different for everybody. And that is one thing that I love about eBay, is that it's so unique and variable, and you can pretty much list and sell anything you want. And it's not specific to any genre. It's not specific to any type of item or product. So you really can delve into what you love. And I think for people that want to sell and they ask me, like, what should I sell? I never tell them what to sell, because you really need to sell what you're interested in. What are you good at? What do you know? What do you love? Those are the first things you need to start. So for me, it was clothing. I was good at finding quality, high quality, good name brand clothing. So I kind of stuck with that for a long time. And if you look at my store, a lot of my store is clothing. And why do I sell clothing? One, because it's easy. It's everywhere. It's in every thrift store. People are getting rid of clothing all the time. It's at garage sales. You know, you can find it anywhere. And then you learn what brands sell. You can go on eBay and actually look at solds and what things are selling for. And for how much. So, and the only way you're gonna learn it is if you just do it, and you just put stuff up and you learn where brands come from, what brands sell well, what styles sell well. I watch other YouTubers. I am a very busy mom, so I don't have a lot of time to figure out what's in style, what's selling, but I do, when I have time, I'll put my earbuds in and I listen to people on YouTube that know all of that have the time, and that have put out educational videos on what is selling and what is in style, what is coming up in style, what do I need to be looking for that will sell for a good profit. A lot of brands that I sold 2 years ago, I can't sell now, like that I used to make $40, $50 on, I might make $10 profit on. So things change very quickly. Some people are really into tchotchkes. Tchotchkes are like the little things, the little knickknacks that you see on shelves. I can't stand them. I try to look, and I'm just like, I don't like tchotchkes. I love vintage. So I am drawn to vintage bakeware and vintage like Pyrex and Corningware and vintage clothing. Now, it doesn't sell super well, so I don't typically buy a lot, because I don't want to spend a lot of my time on something that's not going to sell well. So there's different types of sellers too, and you can be what's called a Longtail Seller, which is where you list it and forget it, and you basically have room in your place, storage. You have storage areas that you can store stuff, and you don't mind listing it and just waiting for the right buyer to come along. It may be a very unique item that doesn't have a lot of interest in it in the beginning. Or you want to be a quick flip person, and that is somebody who buys a large quantity of things and they just list it for cheap and they just sell. So your profit margin is going to be a lot less, but you're selling a higher quantity. So you're going to be making, you know, about the same. So every seller is different, and every eBay store is different, which is one thing, again, I love about eBay, is you can be your own person and your own personality, and you can get out there and buy what you love. So where do you find your stuff to sell? Once you figured out how to sell, how to list, how to ship, then you need to figure out, where am I going to get my supply? Where am I going to get my products from? For myself, I love thrifting. I have a problem with it sometimes. So I do have to limit myself to where I go, but I have some really good thrift stores in my area. And if you're new, you got to figure out what's in your area, what sells for you. You know, if you live in Portland, you're going to find a lot of Pendleton, and you're going to find a lot of Columbia, and Nike, because that's where they're sent out from. So it just depends on where you are, where you live, what is in your area, what kind of thrift stores do you have? Do you live in a big city where you have, you know, 3 Goodwill outlets that you can go to every day? Do you live in a rural town where you might have a little mom and pop thrift store, or just like a one Goodwill that's like 30 minutes away? Like, you got to figure that out before you start going gung-ho, because what kind of a supply and demand? Do you live in an area where garage sales are great in the summer and horrible in the winter? Me, because it rains all winter long. So you take advantage of those summer times and you go garage selling in the summer and you stock up so that you have a supply. So there's lots of different ways to get your stuff, and I'm definitely not going to tell you what to buy, what to get. It is a very unique situation, but and to go back to, is eBay dead? No, it is absolutely not dead. It is still very productive. It's just really variable on what you want to sell, how much you want to sell it for, how much you're trying to make. For myself, I am not a full-time seller. I only need to be making between $500 and $1,000 a month. So that tells me, okay, to make that much in profit, I really have to be putting in a good 10 to 15 hours a week doing eBay, taking photos, getting product. Listing takes a long time. I mean, it takes me a good hour to list maybe 10 items, and that's, you know, on a good day. So it just depends on your system, how much time you can put into it, how much profit you're really needing to make and wanting to make. I think it helps to know where that money is going to be going and having a purpose behind getting that money. Like for myself, it's paying for my girls' private school, which is very expensive. So I have to do it. I have to sit down and I have to do it. For some of you, it might be, this is going to put food on your table. And if that's your motivation, you're definitely going to be motivated to get the job done, to really get out there and put the work in. I can tell you right now that most people who want to do eBay, they want an easy fix. They want an easy, quick, I want to make some money. That is definitely not how eBay works. And a lot of those people will get disappointed and they'll give up. They'll quit after a couple months. I've gotten many messages from people saying, I have 10 items up and it's just not selling. Yeah, I have 340 items up and I just went 2 days without selling one thing. Like, it just happens. For the most part, I typically sell 2 to 3 items a day with 300 plus items on eBay. So it kind of shows you, it's really what you put into eBay is what you're going to get back. You have to stay active. You have to do something every day in eBay to make those sales. You have to be I don't put out a lot of offers because I don't have time. And I'm just talking about eBay here. I'm not talking about Poshmark or Mercari. There's a lot of other sites, Etsy, that you can go to, Bonanza. I don't know, is Bonanza still around? I don't know. But it just, again, I'm a very busy mom, so I don't have time to do all of those platforms and do them well. I'm sure each platform has its, positives and negatives. I'm just kind of trying to stick to eBay. But figuring out the fees, figuring out what you're gonna list, how you're gonna ship it, how much it weighs, all that stuff. This is just kind of to give you an idea of, no, it's not dead. I still make between $500 and $1,000 a month in profit selling part-time, so it definitely can be done. And I want you to let me know what kind of videos you want to see. I do haul videos. I do kind of thrift with me videos and stuff like that. And I will try to get up a shipping one too when I have time to kind of show you how I do shipping, what I ship in, what kind of some basics of what you're going to need to get started. So I hope that was helpful. And again, thanks for watching. And this is just my personal experience of 3 years of reselling part-time. And best of luck to you, and please comment, and if you haven't, please subscribe and like the video. That really helps me out a lot to know what you guys are wanting to see. Thanks. Have a great day.